Well guys, how you doing, and welcome back to Watches and Wheels YouTube channel. Tonight's video is going to be about how I acquired my pink Ferrari Dino. Now I'm pretty sure, looking at the demographic of my subscribers, that you guys already know what a Ferrari Dino is. And you can just go do the research, and there is lots of really cool videos about the car. And up until when I was a kid, I didn't even know what a Ferrari Dino was. I just didn't know. But tonight's story is about how I acquired my pink Ferrari Dino. When I was in kindergarten in the late 70s, my parents used to take us to a farmer's market called Zern's. And Zern's was your usual kind of farmer's market. It had livestock and car auctions, and it smelled like French fries and armpits. Everything's dirty and filthy and it stinks. But every other weekend, from the time I was in kindergarten, all the way up until I turned 16 years old, when I got my driver's license, we used to go there and buy bacon and potato chips and beef jerky and all the things you couldn't buy at the farmer's market. Well, when I was walking around there, when you're that little of a kid, you know, there isn't really a whole lot of things that you remember, or things that you really, I guess you could say that kind of stay with you. But this story tonight is strictly about something that has affected me for 10 years back then. So as we're walking around to this place, there were only two things that interested me in this farmer's market. One was the candy store, which back then you could buy candy that was made with sugar and not actually NutraSweet and all that other crap. You know, when candy was good back in the day, there were these, like 1 cent, you could buy a whole bunch of stuff and put it in a bag, and you had all this candy and it was great and you're happy and stuff. Fantastic, right? Well, there was something else that got my attention, and that was this little Asian man who had a corner stand, and he sold all kinds of like little plastic toy cars, like stuff you couldn't play with. It was more or less along the lines of like stuff you put on a birthday cake. But I remember always, every time we went there, behind this little Asian man, always reading the paper, he had his glasses always folded down like that, smoking, he was always smoking. Behind him was a big white piece of pegboard, and on that pegboard was this plastic little pink car. Looked like a race car. And it was, you know, the packaging was all like yellowy and it was covered with dust, and it's like this little car never had moved, it didn't go anywhere. And every 2 weekends out of the month for 10 years, we would go down there to get stuff on Friday night, and I would always look at this little pink car and go, damn, I wish I could have that. I just think it's cool. But, you know, I didn't want to ask my mom to buy it because I didn't want her to think, well, you know, it's pinks is for girls, and what boy's going to want a pink car? So I just never always just thought about it. You know, every time we left, I'd think about it, and every time, you know, when the Friday would come up, we'd go down there, I would just want to have this car so bad. In 1988, I got my driver's license, and the first Friday I got my driver's license, I drove my Volkswagen Beetle down to Zern's with the intention of buying this little pink car. I had obsessed over this thing for 10 years. It bothered me, and hot dog, that was the night. I drive down there, I bring $20 with me. I didn't care how much it cost. I was buying this car from this little Asian man. I had to have it. I get to Zern's, I pull in the parking lot, I have this moment of like excitement, like the first time you bought your first car, or, you know, the first time, the first time, that feeling you get, right? So I get out of the car and I have a moment of panic, because I think to myself, what if he's gone? What if the man sold the pink car? I felt happy and terrified at the same time. I walk into Zern's. I walk down the aisle. I am on a mission. I am just losing my shit over this little toy car. I walk up, I come around the turn, and there's the little old Asian man. Now mind you, he got 10 years older, smoking his cigarettes, reading his paper, his glasses pointed down at his nose, and I walk up and I look at him and I say, "Excuse me, sir." And that's the first time he'd ever looked up that I could actually see his eyeballs looking at me over top of his glasses. I said, "I would like to buy that pink car, please." And he stood up and he reaches up and he grabs the plastic package it's in, and I don't think that man had touched that plastic car, that bag, for 10 years. Takes it off the hook, and he walks over to me, and I'm losing my mind, right? I'm losing my mind, because here it is, I get to have it in my hand, and he gives me the car, and he tells me it's $2. So I take $2 out of my pocket, I pay the man, and I tell him, "Sir, I've been wanting to buy this car for 10 years, and today's my lucky day, you still have it." And he smiled at me. It was kind of fun, you know? I take this little car, it is like the Holy Grail to me. Well, now, since 1988, I have this car, my pink Ferrari Dino, and now I'm going to show it to you what it looks like up close. So I'll see you in a second. Alright, well here it is, guys. Here is my pink Ferrari Dino. 10 years. For 10 years. I've wanted this car so bad, and I have it. You know, this is one of those things that, you know, if you ever think to yourself, well, what if my house burns down, other than the kids and the dog and, you know, the wife, well, what would you want to save? Like, what would you grab if the house was burning down? And this is one of those little things that probably isn't worth anything that I want to take. You know, when you're a kid, you know, you're not supposed to play with pink things, but, you know, pink toys, girl stuff. Who cares? Now, it is not correct in so many ways, because I believe a Ferrari Dino has a V6, but this has a V8. And they even cut the holes in the clear roof to suck air in those carburetors. Now, this one is a right-hand drive Ferrari Dino, but if you look over there, you'll see that they could put the steering wheel on the left side too. That's funny. It's got, looks like the Japanese style mirrors on it, but it's all there. There's the front. Here's the side. This is the side I saw when it was in its bag. I remember that yellow flower. How cool is that? It's the only pink Ferrari Dino in the world. So when I was getting ready to make this video, I've been thinking about making this video for a long time. Just because I wanted to show you guys this thing. And I really had no idea anything about it. It's been sitting in my model case up in my second floor for the past 20 years. But it's made by a company called Roxy. Roxy. Ferrari Dino, number 6767. Made in Hong Kong. So that little Asian man was probably from Hong Kong. Hot dog, huh? That's like a friction car. You know, it's not exactly the kind of toy that, you know, you'd have to be really careful with it. I never played with it because I just didn't want anything to happen to it. And like a fool, there was a flower on the back, but I peeled it off because, you know, it was kind of a little bit too girly for me, but I did. I just always thought it was funny that you can put the steering wheel on the left side. If I wanted to, I could take the body off the chassis and literally switch the steering wheel, but I'm not. So in preparation to making this video, I did some research on Roxy. Turns out this company's been around for a really long time, and they made toys. So I went to go try to find another pink Roxy Ferrari Dino, and you know what? I couldn't find one. I think this may be the only one left in the world, and I get to own it. What's it worth today? Well, certainly isn't worth as much as a real one. Not that I would buy one anyway, because I don't have the money. But I only found one example Googling it. I found an orange one, and I think it was sold, but the price was something like 60 bucks or something like that. I don't remember. So, you know, it's a toy that's not worth anything, but worth a lot to me. There's the back of it. I don't know how correct it is, you know, as far as detailing. But there it is, guys. And that's the story of my pink Ferrari Dino. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell and come back and see me again. And we'll make some more videos. Show you guys some interesting stuff. Have a good night.